Dreams. Why do we give up on dreams? It's something that's so passionate to our heart, something that we love so much, and yet so many of us give up on them. Whether they're fitness goals, diet goals, you can name it, sports stuff, theater things. Maybe it's something for a career or a job you want in the future. We all have a dream or multiple dreams that motivate us to do things, and yet this thing that we are so passionate about, so many of us give up on. And the sad thing is we give up on it right away. We don't stick with it. We just say, oh, well, we're not seeing the success or the progress we want, or things got hard, and we give up. Why do we do that? Well, because things do get hard. You might face discouragement. People might tell you that you suck, or maybe you just are telling yourself that, even though that's not true. You're not seeing the progress you want in short periods of time because our modern generation has very small attention spans, and so then your dreams quickly die away. But maybe you're thinking, I don't want to give up on my dreams. I want to be able to be successful and achieve that goal of which I've set myself. In which case, hey, thanks for joining me for this video. If you'd like to skip to that section when I actually start talking about it, I'll have that highlighted in the description. You can just skip there. But for right now, everyone else, hi, welcome back. I am back after like 2 months, I think, without making a YouTube video, and I'd like to give a quick update on why I haven't been there, how that ties into this episode's title, and then diving right into the dreams, why to fight for them, how that plays into God's plan for us, and then when you're facing that discouragement, how to keep fighting and persevere, why perseverance is important, and maybe a little bit of encouragement at the end too. So, I am back. 2 months is a very long time, especially when I told you guys like in the next week I was going to be releasing another video and newsletter stuff and whatever. I still don't have the newsletter stuff for you guys. It does really tie into this episode title. It's kind of why I chose Fighting for Dreams, because I was facing some discouragement, partially in a good way. I know that sounds confusing, how it could be a good thing, but I felt like after don't mind my dog. I felt like after I came back from a church camp this summer, God was telling me I was going to need to let stuff go to be able to let him and then the plans he has for my life in, because I hadn't really been giving him any time, and things were really going poorly. So I did. I ended up stopping playing sports, and there were some other things I ended up giving up so I can make more time for youth group and even stuff like this YouTube channel. I felt like he was calling me to it. But I took a tech break. That was another thing I felt like God was calling me to. And so that meant, well, no YouTube. I took almost entirely all of tech. I'd watch movies with my parents during the night, but like no phone, no tablet, no computer really. I was just completely tech free. And it was so nice, guys. I would highly recommend it, especially if you're like my age and you have a serious tech addiction. Definitely do it. It is so beneficial. And I haven't felt this creative and clear-headed and just, it's weird, free almost. I know that sounds confusing, but seriously, it is such a blessing. I would recommend. Anyway, so I took that tech break. That kind of was nice because I wanted to get away from the YouTube channel a little bit because it was starting to stress me out. But then that stress turned into like procrastination after my tech break ended. So hence another month has passed and I have not put out a video. Again, I apologize. I'm sorry. But I'm here now. And I had a conversation about a week and a half or so ago, and this ties in again to the title, guys. I'm not just on a rabbit trail. My dad and I were talking, and we were talking about dreams. And he's like, why haven't you posted anything else for your YouTube channel? And I was like, oh, well, actually, I'm really passionate about it still. I want to do it. But before I get up on this mic, I have to, and like the screen and everything, it involves like setting up the set, and then I know there's gonna have to be some video editing. And then I get up here, and I don't know why, I love public speaking, but with this little glowy camera thing, I get all nervous, and it takes me at least 10 minutes before I can actually, like, I'll just keep messing up for 10 minutes, and then I actually get it, like, on a roll. For example, this is about the 10th time after I messed up 10 times before I was like, okay, you can do it, Mary Beth. It's kind of weird how that works, but anyway. I love speaking. This is a dream of mine, but I was wanting to give up on it because I was scared of how cringy I knew it was going to look for the first couple episodes still. I knew that it was going to take a lot of time, and I was going to have to keep scripting, and that's going to take more time, and then not actual recording. The editing software costs money, and we're having a bunch of issues with like getting that, what the computer is going to look like. And so I kind of was like, you know what? I'm not giving up on it, but I'm just going to wait like a month and then another month, because why not? Like, I just wanted to keep procrastinating. And that was really bad because God wanted me to invest in this channel, and I just missed on the tech break was good, but I missed 2 months of time I could have invested, even if I wasn't posting videos, scripting them, making, like, pre-recording the videos before I came back on YouTube. But I didn't. And so it's good for me because I learned a valuable lesson. But when it comes to you guys, I want to share some of the stuff that God, I feel like, has been teaching me, and some of the stuff me and my dad talked through, and it just helped me realize the importance of having dreams, especially God-ordained or God-given dreams, fighting for them, but then also the fruit of fighting for your dreams. I've come out of a season of about 2 years, and this is like all tying into like my epic intro of getting into the topic, guys. So sorry, this is a very long intro, but about 2 years I have been fighting just this sense of apathy and not wanting to do anything, or you kind of have minor goals like a school goal or something else, and I wasn't even being able to reach those school goals I was setting for myself. Like, I just was done trying. And part of that was because between like technology and other things tying into it, my dreams, I was giving up on them very easily. And since I wasn't practicing that sense of fighting for your dream, no matter whether you attain it or whether you lose it, or whether you're making great leaps and bounds towards success or succeeding, or whether you keep failing, that the fact that you fight, there is fruit in that, and that's also something I would like to cover. So, hold up, let me pull up my little outline thing here. Okay, that's enough with the updates. I might have a short or something coming out soon for stuff with newsletter. We'll see how that works. First point on achieving your dreams. So I guess everyone else, welcome if you skipped the intro. Welcome. We're talking about fighting for your dreams, but who is the giver of those dreams? And even if you're not a Christian, that's okay. This is more targeted towards Christians though, so hey, welcome. God has made us to dream. And not only has he made us to dream, but he's made us to dream big. He wants us to have these unearthly sized goals because that shows your limitations and how God can work through the situation, like Moses and the Red Sea, and how he's like, that is something no human could do. But when he trusted God and he said, okay, show me your faithfulness, God. We are literally out in the middle of nowhere. We have no way to escape. The only way is through the Red Sea, and I'm going to trust you to make a way there. That God moved, and now that's like one of the hallmark stories we talk about in the Bible, and like can admire Moses' faith for that. And so I think God has made us to dream, but he's also made us to dream big, because that can show how he can move in our life and our circumstances in ways that we could have never imagined. God has an amazing sense of creativity, guys, and when you trust him with your dreams, not, okay, God, like occasional prayers saying, God, please help me with X, Y, or Z, and then you go back to your plan of how you're going to get and reach, wow, that was probably really loud, sorry, go and get and reach X, Y, or Z. The thing is, you need to trust God to get you there and say, God, these are the plans I have, but take them into your hands and do whatever you want. And then once you give that to him, you actually have to act on that and show this sense of faithfulness and just willing to follow his plans. Or if you're like, you know what, we have to get here at 5 o'clock, but there's this homeless guy and I feel like we should stop and talk to him. That might be actually in God's plan for your day. And that's like something really small. This isn't even really related to dreams, but you have like a sports thing you need to go to or whatever. Yes, you want to be prompt and get to wherever you need to go on time. But then if you feel that call for Jesus, if you start following that call, then God will be like, hey, he or she is actually following the plans that I have for them. And I can see that they're willing to take time out of their day to pursue me and what I want them to do. And so then when you come to God and you're like, God, these are my goals, these are my dreams, the plans I have. He's like, okay, I can respect that. I like that. We might need to tweak some things, but I really like where you're going there. And he'll want to take that into his hands and help lead you and guide you. But the thing is, you have to practice listening to him, and not just listening to him, but acting on that call that he places on you. So first point, God's the creator of dreams. We want to be able, though, to have a sense where we can listen to his call and then being able to act on that in our everyday lives, or if it's for something important, either way. So that's my first point. Second point, why most people give up on their dreams. Oh my goodness, I didn't actually do a lot of research into this episode. This one was kind of more impromptu, First thing, fear of failure. A lot of people give up on dreams just because they fear not reaching success, which we'll talk about in point 3, why it's important to fail though sometimes. Actually, most times it's important to fail. But fear of failure, that will knock people down. They're just like, oh, but if I don't succeed. Most times, if you don't succeed, that's okay. It's not like the whole world is going to be staring at you and like, you failed. It's not what's going to happen. I mean, you'll know you failed, and maybe some people close to you who knew about your goals will be like, okay, you didn't reach it. Most people aren't going to beat you up for trying. And so I feel like this one is fear of failure is something people fall into a lot when they have dreams, and why they stop pursuing the dream or fighting for it, because they're scared they're going to fail, but they don't stop and realize that actually most people would admire the fact that they went and tried to pursue that dream in the first place. And so that's why one reason why most people will give up on the dream is because they think they're going to fail, when they don't realize that actually most people would probably be like, hey, high five, you tried. And so they give up at the beginning when they could have gotten so much further, or maybe even possibly attained success from that goal. Another thing, reason why most people give up is because it feels like too much work. This is a reason I've given up in the past. The main thing I have to say on this point is that probably means you need to divide your goal into smaller, more manageable, like, as my dad says, like, you can't eat an elephant all at once. You have to eat it one bite at a time. And so you have to divide it into small little tasks, and then you'll be able to achieve the end goal, hopefully, God willing, after a lot of time. And that requires patience. And we live in a world where patience is not something practiced a lot of the time. We are very, right now, right this second, for a couple of seconds, like the swipes. You're there for a couple of seconds, swipe. There for a couple of seconds, swipe. Short term, we're really good short term. Long term, it's like everyone, we live in a world of a bunch of sprinters, but the world is a world where you need to be a distance runner. But because of, like, we're really, especially America, super consumer, I forget what the word is I'm looking for. We're consumers. That's essentially what I'm saying, guys. Since that's kind of how everyone's been raised and grown up for a while now, that we want something right now, and we want it to be exactly the way we want it, or else we're not happy. And so that is essentially the exact opposite of what failure is. Failure is like, you're going to try for a little bit, and then you're going to mess up. You're not going to get exactly what you want. And then you have to try again, and you're probably going to fail again and not get exactly what you want. And then you're going to try again, and you're still not going to get it. And so for people who are just like, swipe, I want this right now, Amazon, delivered to my house in like 3 hours. Yeah, no, that's, it's honestly not fair to us in some respects, even though we are the ones who've created this own problem for ourselves. But people higher in power are making it more miserable for the average person who doesn't realize their own brain processes, how that works. They're making it more miserable for the people who don't have a good sense. They've just been like, oh, look at this tool, like my phone. I can use this for social media and stuff. Or different things like Amazon. It'll deliver to my house in like a couple hours. They don't realize that that's taking away their patience and their ability then when it comes to failure and persevering, which will tie into the next point, being able to persevere when it gets hard. They don't realize that actually the world they live in is pretty much ruining their life for succeeding in anything long term. And that's really sad. And so for that one, I would say, again, that when it feels like there's too much work, you want to divide that into smaller bite-sized portions, going back to that elephant analogy. And then again, this is from a Christian perspective, but then ask God just to help you complete each little task. And if you fail at a little task, again, that's okay. Well, this will tie into the third point. I have one more sub-point for this second point. Wow, that was confusing. Anyway, but you just need to divide it into smaller bite-sized pieces, and it won't feel as overwhelming. And then the third sub-point here is no accountability or encouragement. And I think this is another one for me that sometimes I'll be like, oh, I have this new idea. I want to do X, Y, or Z. I say X, Y, or Z a lot. I'm sorry. But I want to do that. But then I don't tell my parents or maybe like my youth minister or someone. I don't tell them this is my goal. I just kind of start going for it because I get all gung-ho about it and I'm so excited. But then no one else knows that I'm doing that. So then when I fail, I'm like, I failed. Or like if I start another workout routine or something and no one knows I started, and then I miss a day or something, then I'm feeling like I'm a schmuck because I messed up again on my workout routine. but no one even knew I started, so I'm just wallowing alone in my misery, versus having people come alongside me, like, maybe you only missed a day, like, just get back up on the train the next day. That it's actually not that hard to get back on the train if you have accountability and encouragement and people to come alongside you, like a community. And community sounds so huge, but even if it's just one or two people who can come alongside you and be like, hey, no, keep going, you got this, you've done it for a couple days, you can keep doing it. That you need those people to come alongside you. If you don't have that community, then you're going to be constantly wrestling with, oh, I failed, and then you're like, and no one even knew I had this goal, and then you have no one there to encourage you. And then if you tell people after the fact, like, this was my goal and I didn't meet it, you need to tell people kind of before you start, I almost feel like, because afterwards they can be like, oh, I'm sorry you didn't make your goal, and they can kind of sympathize with you, but they didn't get hype about it when you told them, hey, I'm starting, I'm going for this goal. When you had all that energy, you're telling them now that you've failed, and then they can kind of be like, awkward pat on the back, but there's not as much they can do. You tell them when you start. That way you have that community that's able to, like, uplift you if you fail, and if you succeed, you have them there to celebrate with you. You have this crowd of witnesses that's able to celebrate as you reach your success. So 3 subpoints under why people most generally give up. They give up because fear of failure, it feels like it's too much work, no accountability, encouragement. On to point 3, my final point, why perseverance is so important, and also the tie-in why failure is so important. Because a lot of us think if you fail, you've, like, failed in all caps, it's written in stone. There's nothing you can do after that point. You're a loser. And that's not true, because failure actually has this fruit of its own that helps you grow in the future. Failure helps you learn perseverance, gives you dedication and the ability to stick with tasks that you can be like, okay, whether I'm enjoying this or whether I'm not enjoying it, that you keep going after the goal. And so then you don't attain it, but you're like, you know what, I'm going to get up and I'm going to keep trying again. That failure shows you one way, as Edison said, found one way not to make a light bulb before he actually made the light bulb. And so we found one way that doesn't really work that well, that could be like not to achieve that goal. But that doesn't mean that you yourself are a failure. It means you've just found one way that didn't work. And so you get up and you try it again. And you're like, okay, brainstorm again. Let's see, like, this is kind of maybe where I went wrong. Let's change some things, tweak some things. The thing is that perseverance ends up growing you in so many different ways. And that failure gives fruit to the perseverance. If you don't fail and then get back up, that's the fail in parentheses, and then get back up after that, then you're not going to be able to grow. And you'll be teaching yourself that, okay, every time I don't achieve my goal, that I just give up. It's training you that you won't ever be able, you're training your brain, I should say, that you won't ever be able to succeed in the future, like in that certain area. And that's not true, but your brain will take it that way. When you give up repeatedly over and over again, your brain will be like, oh, okay, so I guess that's just habit now. We give up if we don't reach it the first time. Most people don't reach their goal the first time. That's, I think, like 0.1% or something. You don't usually reach your goal on the first try. And you have to go a couple times after that, and a couple more times after that, and then go down the pit of despair and try a couple more times after that. And then eventually you'll reach success. The encouragement. Keep dreaming is my last note. And that fighting for your dreams is up to you. You have to decide whether you're actually willing to give time for this, and when you fail, get back up and be like, okay, hey, I have persevered. I have more dedication now because I didn't give up, and I'm just going back after failure, after failure, after failure, and you keep fighting for that thing that you want so dearly. But then you keep dreaming bigger and better because you trust that God's going to take care of you and that He has a plan for you, and that your plans might not necessarily be His plans, but you're okay with that. And you're like, okay, God, just lead me whatever way you want me to go. You keep dreaming the way God wants you to keep dreaming, on His terms and on His timing, which won't be our own. As I said before, like 2 or 3 times, that we live in this consumer sort of I want to swipe. It's right here, right now. Okay, move on, move on, move on. And that's not the way God works. He said when Jesus died and then he told his disciples, hey, like, I'm coming back. He said soon. That's been 2,000 years. So obviously God's timing doesn't work exactly the way we think. I think a lot of us, when we think of soon, we think probably in the next 5 to 10 minutes. That's not how God works. And so when you're able to rely, though, on God's timing and trust that he is going to be able to take care of you, that he has a plan for you, and that he is holding your dreams and he wants you to attain them, but that it's going to take time and he has some bumps along the way, but that you're willing to fail and try again and fail and try again and fail, that God will eventually grant you success. So don't give up. Keep dreaming. And I hope this video was helpful to you. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And tell me if you have any topics you'd like me to discuss outside of the 21 reasons for you to hate me. I have, I think, a lot of those solidified right now. But if you have any other topics, like something like this, fighting for your dreams, or if there's something more Christian, I'm going to try and have some book reviews on here occasionally. But if there's any videos that interest you, could be motivational and encouragement like this, just let me know. And I would like to know what you guys want, and I will try and get on that too. And I'll have some more news for you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Keep fighting for your dreams. I'll be praying for you guys, and have a blessed day. Bye.